is putting people's lives at risk. Why are you still doing it? Is it important to you?
It's never the perpetrators of violence that is unjustifiable and illegal and inhumane. It's the victims that are at fault. He's victim blaming. So, there is a war brewing inside of the Daily Wire. Christina Buttons says, I'm leaving the Daily Wire. I work hard getting the facts right and using precise language because of the heated nature of the gender debate, with so much at stake, while their pundits dump gasoline all over it for entertainment and clicks. As an independent journalist, I will continue my commitment to factual and rigorous reporting on gender ideology and the pediatric gender medicine, with the goal of reaching people across the political spectrum. I've already begun receiving inquiries from left-wing publications to see if I'll give them dirt. As a company, the Daily Wire is a fantastic place to work. They treat their employees extremely well. Their editorial team is top-notch, and everyone I've ever interacted with there is wonderful. I'm leaving because I want to reach people on the center left, and lately I've felt like there's been a distinct increase in inflammatory rhetoric from the Daily Wire personalities that make it more difficult to accomplish that. What did Matt Walsh say to that? She's not great, by the way. She's a awful demon herself. Matt Walsh said, if you had concerns, you would have walked across the room and talked to me, but you never did. 2, you are well aware of what I've achieved in this fight. I would stack those achievements up against anyone. I'm not in this for clicks and entertainment, and you know that. Yeah, this dude is literally like, I'm a demon for real. He's like, I want trans people to die, and I've put my brand on there.
I have personally heard from many parents, more than I can, who tell me versions of the same horror story. A beautiful and innocent kid one day, seemingly out of nowhere, gets sucked into the gender cult and is devoured by it. The child they held as a baby and raised and gave their lives to and loved and still love becomes suddenly unrecognizable. All of their innocence and light and beauty just drained out of them, replaced by this self-cannibalizing madness. For a parent to see this happen to a child, it is a fate worse than death. I would rather be dead than have that happen to my kid. See, the thing that I most despise about Dylan Mulvaney is that he is part of a movement which actively seeks to turn my children.
Oh, I just thought about that. Oh my God. Look, I can't say a lot about this particular matter, but like, oh my God, that feels so good. I'm not even kidding. I have goosebumps. That felt really good to think about. You can't stop me. I'll think it. I won't say anything. But my God, that felt so good. It felt really good. Here, I mean, what?
Die. What do we do, argue with you? I'm not on the debate team. This isn't mock trial. Then die.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. So true.
Into Dylan Mulvaney. That's why I'm entitled to my anger and to whatever language I use to convey it. I will say whatever I want to say, and I will be justified in saying it, because these people are after my kids and yours and everyone else. And you're worried that I'm being a little rude?
He's balding. Destroyed. You're right. Yeah, I don't want to watch this. It's just like, I think it's better for my sanity not to watch Matt Walsh. And it's also better because, like, if I want to continue being on the platform, like, I can't watch him, because if I do, I'll get banned. You know what I mean? So instead, like, Matt Walsh literally is just like, listen, you don't understand. Like, I was responsible for the Boston Children's Hospital getting a bomb threat, you know? Like, do you know how sick that is? You think it's easy to defend an anti-LGBT mass shooter in the immediate aftermath of a mass shooting? Yeah, he's like, I'm principled, dog. Leave if you want, but there's no reason to lob a baseless insults and question my integrity on the way out the door. It's also quite funny that you accuse me of wanting clicks while you use my name and picture for clicks. And not only that, but you turn against allies in the movement who have achieved far more in this fight than you have. That is crazy that he's just like literally saying like, this is an accomplishment. Christina was a leftist Democrat until a couple of years ago. She just got into this movement and now she feels that she's in a position to tell the rest of us how we should operate. He's like, I've been transphobic since day one, bitch. How dare you come at me? Well, you got to show us Matt Walsh saying that. There's no shot. Matt Walsh literally looked to the Q shooting that happened at the Q nightclub and basically defended the shooter. Okay, he did. He said, more please, pull up the clip, brother, I gotta see this. He said,
family-friendly drag shows, quote unquote, have two purposes. One, from the drag queen's perspective, is to satisfy their fetish for cross-dressing in front of children. The other, on a more macro level, is to indoctrinate children into queer theory. To put it simply, the point of Drag Queen Story Hour and the supposed family-friendly drag shows is to turn your children queer. That is the goal. Oh my God. And whenever you say that, what I just said right there is going to be clipped by Media Matters. Hello, everybody, on Twitter. Stupid. The people who invented it, their quote, the point.
Right. Continue with this.
stated explicitly that that is the point, to help children live queerly. That's their quote. And the thing about the left is that what they believe and what they do,
By left,
all
he
of it
means
is so
the
horrifying,
vast
so
majority
perverse, so degraded, that if you just quote them, then you somehow sound like the crazy one. If you quote what they are saying, it sounds crazy just to say it out loud because it's so horrifying. Yet it's true. And this is the reason the left cares so much about this, and they defend it so vigorously. Because according to the left, think about this. According to the left, the drag queen child combination has become dangerous. They say it's a lightning rod for violent backlash, right? That's what they said. And it's greatly exaggerated, of course. Mostly it's invented out of whole cloth, actually. But even by their version of events, if it's causing this much chaos and violence, why do you insist on continuing to do it?
For those of you who don't understand what he's saying here, this is immediately in the aftermath of the Q shooting, where he falsely claims that there's a drag queen power hour for children happening at the club, and then basically says this is why you deserved, the violence that you were subjected to is valid, and it will keep happening. It's victim blaming. He didn't even say that, I disavow the violence. He said it's expected, and it's going to keep happening.
If according to you, it's like putting people's lives...
Understand what he's saying here.
There it is.
He's saying...
for violent backlash, right? That's what they said. And it's greatly exaggerated, of course. Mostly it's invented out of whole cloth, actually. But even by their version of events, if it's causing this much chaos and violence, why do you insist on continuing to do it? If according to you, it's like putting people's lives at risk, if the effort to have men cross-dress in front of children is putting people's lives at risk, why are you still doing it? Is it that important to you?
Interesting is his publication the same that hosted quotes like, we must eradicate transgenderism. Yeah, they keep saying it. If he doesn't want to get mugged, why does he keep walking around with a wallet? If you didn't want to be raped, why did you wear the dress that you wore? It's never the perpetrators of violence that is unjustifiable and illegal and inhumane. It's the victims that are at fault. He's victim blaming.
They demand that we explain why we object to children being exposed to drag queens, and we can explain it, and we have, and we will continue to, because it's very easy to explain. Drag is inherently sexual and ideological. It is
not
burlesque,
true.
And it's not appropriate to bring your child to a burlesque show.
Your child.
You disgusting freaks.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know, man. It's just like, I'm so tired. Here, most normal transphobe.
You mean
before we move on from this? I want to move on from this topic. Last thing before we move on, though, most normal transphobic take.
to tell me that you basically hit up your fam, were like, hey, I'm a little mentally ill and I want you to start referring to me as a male. And your sweet little grandma, sweet, adorable little grandma wrote back to you and said, hey, so we're not going to do that. We're going to pray for you and we're going to pray for your soul. And we are going to still invite you here and we are going to still love you and you are amazing. But we obviously cannot participate in this mentally ill exercise. And she went to TikTok and she cried about being loved by her grandma because that's what's happened. There's no rejection here. She just is saying, I'm not going to play mentally ill games, right? And the weird part for me also is when she says, then she told my 5 cousins who are below the age of 10 who I wasn't going to tell. What do you mean you weren't going to tell them? You think that they weren't going to be thrown off? I mean, if a 9-year-old is pretty smart, you get home and everyone is calling you Michael. It's just going to be like, hey, why is everyone calling you Michael? Like, obviously they had to make your cousins aware of this circumstance that you're going through something because you are in fact going through a mental illness, which was probably placed upon you by society, right? You're obviously a young woman. You're a young woman who is confused and probably confused because you're seeking attention and it is a cry for help. And your grandmother answered that cry for help by telling you that you are loved as you are and that you don't need to fall into this trap of insanity. You're the best grandma ever, by the way, because when I'm a grandma, if I get any foolishness like that, I don't know. I want to be a sweet grandma. I really do. I want to be a sweet old lady, but I feel like I might be the kind to hit somebody with a cane. I don't know. Be like, hey, I'm not calling you Mike.
I love creating a hypothetical scenario where I have a trans grandchild just so I can beat them.
Oh, I feel like that would probably be me.
That's cool, man. Thank you. Just normal scenarios that, people go through in their minds. This is very normal, very cool stuff.
You disgusting freaks.